Hello and welcome everyone. We're back in D East. It's been like a week since we've been in D East. We started off the season with I think 2 or 3 D Easts casts out of like the first 4, and it's been a while. But it's good to be back. We're here in the most fun division so far from my casting experience. We've been having some great matches here, and we have another one coming up tonight, which is a matchup with a bit of history here. And actually, for the first time in a little bit, our teams were nice and ready. When we got started here, we normally are kind of behind when it comes to these things, but we're looking great. Got started nice and early, and so I can go ahead and tell you a little bit about the matchups, or about the matchup that we have tonight. So, sorry about this. It'll take one moment. All right. So, I gotta add one last little info here that I forgot. As I say, we're nice and ready. I'm not nice and ready, but there we are. Okay, perfect. Okay, looks like it's no issue because they're in a Storm League match for the moment. Do some intros. All right, so one of the teams is in a Storm League match right now, so it's no issue. But I'll go ahead and get started introducing our teams for the evening. Our home team, the blue side, is going to be the Nexus Cats. This is and our right side going to be the red team, which will be Furters. Both teams are veteran teams here in NGS, have played against each other multiple times, have played multiple times here in NGS, and both teams that I think have a strong chance of taking the series so far tonight. So let's start off, as we do, with the standings. Looking at the standings right now, Nexus Cats are sitting hot at the top of D East, tied with Zul'jin Distillery for first with 8 points. Whereas Furters, unfortunately, struggling a little bit, sitting at 10th place with only 1 point right now. But that can be a little bit misleading, so I'm going to go ahead and bring you a bit more info, which I've done some research on, and which I was finishing up last minute because I forgot. But looking at our teams, so Nexus Cats right now, so far in the season, are sitting at 3-0. They've lost 1 map of their 6 wins, 1 map lost, so 7 maps so far in this season. So they're looking really strong, really powerful in this season in D East. Last time they finished 8th in D East and ended up being eliminated in the early part of the tournament. Because they did, unfortunately, as the 8th seed, have to go against the number 1 seed in the first round, where they did end up losing. But they looked pretty strong towards the end of that season. Furters had a pretty similar case. Right now they're 0-1 with a 1-2 map score. They also played less matches, which is part of why they're lower down right now. But they had looked really, really strong last season. While they finished 6th in D East, they did a great job towards the end of the season, especially in the tournaments, where they had a great playoffs run to the Coastal Finals, where they lost against Bancho 3-2 in the D East Finals, or I guess I should say 2-3. So really close series, which they ended up losing. And Bancho went on to be the overall Division D champions. So Furters showing that they're a team which has some really great potential here. And historically, the matchup has shown that. I went ahead and looked, and this was what I was looking at last minute, and it historically has gone in Furters' favor. They've played against each other twice. Once it was a 2-0, and once it was a 2-1 in favor of Furters. I don't want that to be, though, a foregone conclusion for tonight, because as we've seen, Nexus Cats sitting at 3-0 so far, 6-1 map score for the season. They are on fire with this current Nexus anomaly, with this current season of the Nexus Gaming Series. So I would be watching to see if they can start turning around that matchup and show that Furters aren't the only ones bringing heat to tonight's match. Hopefully we will be getting them in here pretty soon, as it is 9. I'm going to go ahead and leave the info up for a little bit, wait for us to get some more folks into the lobby, as one of our teams is, as we mentioned, in a Storm League match right now, unfortunately. But as soon as they're out, we can go ahead and jump into the series that is at hand, talk about the maps and all of that. So thanks everyone who's coming out. Of course, I'm certain we're having some new people roll in as I speak, since the matchup is officially starting right now. But always glad to be able to introduce the teams a bit earlier, and I'd rather have a bit of time to stall and just kind of wait it out than have to rush through the info. Mark, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Mark, of course, playing for the Nexus Cats tonight. Nexus Cats actually having a few names you might recognize from the community, from whether it be from casting or from being on Nexus Edge last season. They, of course, have Arthana, who was on Nexus Edge last season, and Turd Herder, who is currently the host of the Nexus Edge. So shout out to him. Nexus Edge actually went down earlier today, and I'm certain it was excellent. I unfortunately was not able to catch it, but I'm certain I'll be watching it tomorrow when I have some downtime. So if you haven't seen that, that's something you can put on in the background while you're waiting for our series to start tonight. Thanks to Mark he says, thanks for the cast in chat. Thank you for having me. I'm excited for this, and I'm excited to see what Nexus Cats can do. They looked on fire last night. They played against some of my friends over on Bunker Fun Time and took that series dominantly. They looked really great last night. So I'm excited to see if they can pull it out again and get the full win. All right, looks like we might be having a rehost on the lobby as multiple members have dropped. So I'm going to go ahead and drop from the lobby, potentially. All right. Looks like we might be seeing a lobby rehost, so it might be a minute or two more here. But we will see what goes down with these teams. But looks like so far we have Nexus Cats fans in the chat. Doesn't surprise me given some of the names on that team. I'm certain they have a lot of fans. Thanks for coming out, Professor Bobo, Lionhouse, August, McGiblets, also playing for the Nexus Cats tonight. Appreciate you. And your Linehouse cool emotes. Linehouse's emotes have been actually they've been brought up a few times. I know they were on the Nexus Edge last week, I believe. They were talking about what the best Linehouse emotes were. So some real nice emotes there at Linehouse's channel if you go and check him out. All right, sweet. We have a rehost on the lobby. Hopefully we'll get that working here, as it looks like. Let me make sure I've got our team names correct here. Perfect, I do. Yep, just waiting on a few members for one of our teams here. The Doctor is here too. Everyone from the side of Nexus Cats is in chat. Hopefully no stream sniping. I'm kidding. Of course not. I trust these teams. I think it's going to be a great match tonight. Thanks, McGiblets, for the follow, or McGiblets. I don't know. You can tell me before the match if it's... I would imagine McGiblets, but I could be wrong. All right. No Johns. We've got all the Nexus Cats in here and a bit of banter going down with the one member of Frank's Furters who is currently representing them in the lobby. So always good to see that. But I'd like to ask chat, like, what are you thinking? Who's gonna come out on top tonight? But I get a feeling that there might be a heavy bias towards one of the teams tonight, given who we have in chat. Thanks, Turd, for the follow as well. It is appreciated very much. Yeah, if you want to follow, if you want to, I don't know, subscribe, give bits, like, do so now, because I do turn off the notifications during the game just so we can focus on it. It might be active during the draft. I don't recall immediately off the top of my head. No, it's not during the draft. Okay, I'm very professional. No notifications during draft, but I'll also run them if I see them that they came in through during the draft. But thanks to everyone for coming out, even if even if you are here just from one of the teams playing, it's appreciated that I'll hopefully see you around in the future for some other matchups here. Nikki G here to cheer on the Cats as well. Yeah, it's been a good day so far, nice and busy. I've been working overtime recently, so it's nice to wind down a little bit with our matchup here tonight, as we are getting some members in here, it looks like, from the side. Thank you, Arthana, as well for the follow. From the side of our Frank's Furters coming in now, so we can hopefully be jumping in nice and soon to our matchup. Because I think, perfect, I have all of the members correct off the bat. I don't even have to change any of the names. Alright, well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the maps here. You can see that the home team is the Nexus Cats. They lost the coin flip, so Frank's Furters decided they wanted first pick. Bans went out onto Cursed Hollow and Tomb of the Spider Queen from the Nexus Cats, and Altrecht Pass and Sky Temple from Frank's Furters, with the map pick being Dragonshire from Nexus Cats. So confident in their ability to communicate with each other and to play around that mix of macro and micro, as well as the smaller brawls. It looks like we do have one of our teams ready, but there's also a promise of a poem in chat, so I feel like maybe we shouldn't start yet so we can see the poem. I'll ask for the poem. All right, we'll see if it's appropriate. I'll share it, of course. All right. We'll see. It's in the NGS Discord. All right. Well, looks like maybe I won't see it then, since unfortunately I'm still waiting on my official caster tag so I can jump in the other division lobbies. But I'm certain it is going to be glorious. I'm certain you can imagine what kinds of poems might be getting offered by these teams. So make sure to, if you're in Division D and you want to just copy it and paste it in Twitch chat, that's allowed as well. But it looks like we should be ready to go ahead and jump into our first draft here. As I mentioned, a matchup that has happened multiple times. These teams have a nice rivalry going on. Frank's Furters going pretty strong historically in the matchup, but Nexus Cats looking hot so far, so we'll have to see if they can keep up their hot streak and take the win against Frank's Furters for the first time in the history between these two teams, as we're going to go ahead and jump into our first match. Or not. Now people are saying, wait. Ah, okay, I needed a hat swap. Of course, it's always the hat. Always the hat. And we're going to go ahead and jump into the draft for our first match in tonight's best of 3 on Dragonshire. As I mentioned, Dragonshire, always a map where you're going to look towards some macro focus, and that the camps are very, very powerful, especially in the early game, to open up the map and to open up advantages for your team to be able to get closer to capturing that Dragonite, but you also need to have strong skirmishing. As first pick was to the wrong team, so we're gonna restart here in a second. For shame. No, it's all good. Yeah, these things, honestly, I'm kind of surprised it took this long for something like this to happen. Well, I guess we did have last week. I gave the wrong person a hat, but they just rolled with it. It's okay. None of us are perfect, but this match is going to be great. Like I was saying, you have a focus onto camps for one. So for that, you see a lot of heroes such as Rhaegar, Greymane frequently picked up, and both of those heroes are, of course, very, very strong in the modern meta, thanks to Bloodlust being a very strong pick right now. But you also see stuff like Junkrat for the zoning ability onto the shrines, in specifically in the bottom lane and the middle lane, since those are more his territory. as well as quick rotations. All of those are essential for this map. It's all about communication and overall understanding, I think, of the map. Definitely one of the most challenging, which is why I love to see the confident pick here from Nexus Cats. They're showing that they want to go into it. And so we will. SHIRE, take 2. Let's see. Red team has the first ban, as Furters did want first pick. We'll have to see what they pull out or what we see banned here. Is the Rhaegar going to get banned? Is Zool? Is Deathwing? What is considered dangerous enough that these teams want to get rid of it? Let's see here. As the first ban is going over to the side of Furters. I could see bans just onto comfort picks that the Nexus Cats like. Obviously, as I mentioned, there is a history between these two teams. Furters has generally gotten the better of the Cats, so we'll have to see if they're able to get some bans out here and watch for what they ban, because it will definitely show. I'm certain these teams have done their research and they have great plans for the series, as the first ban is going to be onto Leoric. So taking away the Drain Hope that can make the offlane matchup difficult, as well as the potential double soak. And speaking of the offlane matchup, they're going to get rid of Rexar immediately from the side of Nexus Cats, as he dominates the side lane, the solo lane very heavily, which is of course half of the objective pretty much on this map, and enables your 4-man to be very, very free to do whatever they want to. Next ban going to be coming in from Furters. We still haven't seen a ban onto Zool or Rhaegar, and it's going to be the Blaze ban here. This is something that I believe I've seen the Nexus Cats run once or twice this season. And the last ban going to be onto Zool Jin, so not wanting to have to deal with the stacking hero, which could definitely scale really hard in that bottom lane. As to first pick, now here for Furters. Lots of stuff up right now. We see Zool still up. We see Rhaegar still up. There's a lot of potential for some strong draft synergies here. We'll have to see what Furters choose to go for in their first pick position. And it is going to be the ETC for Dallying Pig. Overall, a extremely solid tank. So they're going to go ahead and grab onto that. But quick picks already from the side of Nexus Cats. They know exactly what they want, and that is a Garrosh for Mark Zombie and a Tassadar for the Doctor here. So looking for the sustained poke and wave clear, as well as some pretty good burst from Tassadar. And then Garrosh going to be a bully and force people away from him on that point. As Orphea and Deckard going to be the pickups here for the side of Furters. Deckard very strong if he's able to set up some potions in that bottom lane. Makes it very hard to move in against them. And Orphea recently got some changes. I know there's some mixed feelings here around her, but I believe that she is definitely has the potential right now to become a really strong force in the meta. Speaking of which, we're going to see Deathwing banned out from the side of the Nexus Cats, as they don't want to have to deal with that. And understandably so, as he can just completely change the shape of the game here on SHIRE. Final ban going to be onto Malfurion. Actually, an interesting statistic. It was mentioned earlier today that in Division D, I believe it is, Malfurion has like a 98% win rate or something. Sounds like he's been played a decent bit and only lost one map this season. So ban onto him, always a safe ban, as we're gonna see. I'm gonna say McGiblets. If that's wrong, they can correct me later. Picking up the Stukov here, and then the Arthas for the off lane for Turd Herder here. So able to slow, and if a Dragonite is obtained, maybe we see the Syndragosa coming out to enable some pushes for the side of the Nexus Cats. Furters gonna immediately lock in the Dahaka. Seeing the Arthas, a hero who maybe isn't so much of a bully in the off lane, they're gonna go for a global here, and not even one global. They're gonna go for two, as they pick up Falstad, and the last pick gonna be onto Zeratul for Arthana. So looking for some fancy plays here, and maybe some potential wombo combos with the Tassadar. We'll have to see what comes out, but first I want to hear from you guys. Who do you think is gonna come out on top, as we have some spicy picks in this draft tonight? I'm liking both drafts quite a bit. But if I had to give it to one, I think I really like the Nexus Cats draft here. Tassadar pokes so heavily, and Zeratul can really punish that Falstad, or even Orphea or Deckard if they're out on their own. We'll have to see, though, as the burden of play is definitely on Arthana and the Doctor here. They're going to have to pop off. And also, offlane matchup. Pretty interesting. Not heroes you see that often in the offlane. But we'll have to see which is able to win out here between the offlaners here in Turd Herder and DJ Cold Cuts. Alright, and here we are in our first map for the evening between these two teams. On the left, we have, of course, the Nexus Cats, led by Arthana on the Arthana on the Zeratul, Turd Herder on Arthas, Mark Zombie on Garrosh, McGiblets on Stukov, and the Doctor playing Tassadar. Against them, it is going to be Furters looking to repeat their previous victories over the Nexus Cats, with Dallying Pig on ETC, Boggs on Falstad, DJ Cold Cuts on Dahaka, Magic Master on Orphea, and Indecisive playing Deckard Cain. Some nice mount synergy from the side of Furters, and from the side of the Nexus Cats, although we do see some heroes here without mounts on the side of the Nexus Cats. So I'm going to have to give it to Furters. Or sorry, I'm backwards again. Furters having some globals who don't have mounts there, so I'm going to have to give it to the Nexus Cats. But a nice little early engage there in the middle lane with a nice Deckard route is going to allow for the rotation to start out a bit quicker for the side of Furters, as we see the Gathering Storm, I believe it is, stacking the Q damage for Boggs, so looking to get the very powerful poke damage there, potentially, as the game goes on. Also seeing some tissue regeneration and prog rock for the quests here. Whereas on the other side, even more quests, as we have, of course, at the level 1 static charge for the Doctor on Tassadar. That allows you to chunk so heavily if you are able to stack up the Q in a 4v4 or even 3v3 scenario like in this bottom lane here. And then we also have, of course, some pretty, well, hold up, we have a throw onto Dallying Pig, nice follow-up by McGiblets, but not quick enough, as Dallying Pig going to be able to power slide out, and now body blocking Mark Zombie on Garrosh as he's getting low and is going to fall. That's first blood in favor of Furters. And now the Doctor getting power slid, booped back, is going to be okay. Maybe not. The Sapphire comes out and Orphea able to catch onto Tassadar and make it 2-0 here. As something worth noticing, we have Eternal Hunger for Arthas already sitting at 5 stacks, so looking to go maybe for a bit more auto attack build to secure the top lane against the Dahaka here. And already, thanks to those 2 kills, we are seeing the objective channeled on both sides for Furters. Not going to be able to get it in the mid, as Arthana and the Doctor both there to guard it. But with that, Boggs is going to be able to get the siege camp here for his team. Looks like chat is going in favor of the Nexus Cats. 3 out of 3 voting for them, as we actually have the Zeratul ganking top and taking out Dahaka. Great play there from Arthana, helping out Turd Herder as he was getting low. And now the double cap is for the side of the Nexus Cats. Don't expect them to get the Dragon Knight here, but they're going to be able to use this time to free up some of the pressure that we saw earlier. And a great bit of counterplay there, as we see auto attack build continuing with Icy Talons here, as well as cleave build for Zeratul, so opting for a bit more classic playstyle here. We'll have to see if he goes for the Void Prison or for the Might of the Nerazine. Looking at other talents, Ruby at 4 was recently buffed for Deckard, but we're going to see the Potion of Shielding still coming out here. Just really allows some nice sustain and ability to survive both poke and burst with the shield there. So a strong pick always for Deckard here. I'm going to go for that, as we're going to see the bottom lane starting the channel onto the point here, but Dallying Pig going to get thrown off. Power slides in though and throws Mark Zombie, who's going to burn the Unstoppable to keep himself alive. Arthanaut going to barely get the interrupt onto Orphea here. Don't know how long he'll be able to trade into her though, as Orphea able to do a lot of damage in this early game. Luckily, Nexus Cat's gonna be able to take control back in this bottom lane against Frank's Furters, as well as in the top lane. So Turd Herder doing pretty well into this Dahaka. It is being traded back and forth, but Turd Herder will definitely scale into a lot more damage and harass against DJ Coldcuts as he stacks up and gets some additional talents, as he's already completed the baseline here for Eternal Hunger, increasing the mana restored by 40 at this point. Looking at now both channeled for the side of Nexus Cats. Mark Zombie just throwing away Dallying Pig so he can't get onto that, and with the slow from McGiblets and the damage from the Doctor, putting out some serious harassment onto him. And that is luckily going to get healed up here by Indecisive, but a good job from Nexus Cats just harassing the side of Frank's Furters and forcing them back off of this bottom point. This is definitely something that they need to focus on, as with Zeratul on their team, with the Arthas who's looking for the auto attack build. They definitely want to get some scaling in. Even with Tassadar, definitely scales very well, but a nice throw onto Boggs. The force wall is there, but Boggs is going to be able to get the barrel roll over it to stay alive. Good job from Boggs on the fall stab to be able to escape there. But for the moment, not really using the globals too much. I'd like to see them maybe have DJ Coldcuts use his burrow down into this bottom lane to help out his team, as they are definitely struggling to gain control here and not able to quite get advantage of these globals at the moment. That being said, what is happening is a gank from Arthana onto the Dahaka here, and that should more than likely be his death, as Turd Herder, though low on mana, is going to be able to keep up the slow. Arthana actually taking a ton of tower damage, and DJ Coldcuts escapes, saved by the burrow there, as well as his essence, which was up, or maybe that was the fountain tab. Looks like it was, yeah. But that did force out the rotation, so great play there from the side of the Nexus Cats. Even if they failed that time, if they're able to keep that up, they should eventually succeed. And they did force Deckard Cain to move into the top lane, which should allow them to create a bit more pressure in this bottom lane if they so wish. Magic Master all game has just been watching the rotations in this bush, catching soak for their team, and doing a good job at that. As Mark Zombie gets the throw onto Dallying Pig, the force wall comes out, as well as the silence. Dallying Pig not able to escape, and that's going to be the second kill for Nexus Cats onto the ETC here. We can take a look at what's happened so far. We've had a kill onto Dahaka and ETC, so the frontliners for Frank's Furters getting punished a little bit here by the combo there between the Garrosh throw and the force wall, as well as the good gank into the off lane by Zeratul repeatedly here so far. And ever since that first little skirmish in the early game, it's been looking very strong for Nexus Cats, as they're going to already be taking back this bottom point again. Gave a bit of time up to take their siege camp, but we're never really worried, and now we're seeing Arthana again ganking onto DJ Coldcuts on the Dahaka, and even with full essence, he is going to fall. That is a big kill for the side of the Nexus Cats, as now they're going to be able to send potentially more than one mid to confirm this Dragon Knight, but for the moment it looks like they're going to just be fine with getting the soak and pushing in with these Siege Giants in the bottom lane. Dallying Pig using his power slide for some damage, but is going to get thrown, taunted, silenced. Gust gets used to save him, as well as to stay while and listen. Speaking of which, level 10s are in, and we do see the Void Prison, as well as the Black Hole, Syndragosa, the Warlord's Challenge, and the Massive Shove. Two in the mid right now for the side of the Nexus Cats, trying to get this channel, but Magic Master able to continuously poke out there. Looking at the talents for them at 10, we do see the Gust, as we already saw, as well as Adaptation, Crushing Jaws, Stay a While and Listen, and the Mosh Pit, of course. So some very strong Wombo potential from both of these teams. I'll be interested to see who's able to execute theirs first, and who's able to execute it more successfully, maybe. More importantly, as right now we have an invade onto the middle lane, knowing that multiple members of Frank's Furters were, or rather, knowing that multiple were in the mid lane, they were able to get the invade here, but the Crushing Jaw is going to come out from Magic Master on the Orphea. Black Hole and Void Prison going to overlap a little bit, and the Mosh Pit comes out, but Tassadar going to die despite the throw from Mark Zombie, who's now getting dragged by DJ Coldcuts, who did use the global to come in here, and that is going to be a kill onto Garrosh. McGiblets gets away with just over 10 health. But that is 2-for-0 kills here in favor of our red team. Great play here from Furters, punishing the invade with their substantial lockdown. As Falstad now taking advantage of his global to go into the top lane. Turd needs to be careful as there's multiple members of Furters here to go against him. And Garrosh and Tass just now coming up. Gonna go into the mid lane where they take out Magic Master on the Orphea. Great pick there. Arthana has been executing very strongly on this Zeratul. We do see the Seeker in the Dark at level 7 for him, using that Singularity Spike to teleport. Not a little bit worried about getting locked down by the ETC if they do go for the wormhole there, or maybe just wanting the better relocation ability by having that second teleport instead of just having to teleport back. And that is again going to be double channel here for the side of Nexus Cats. This is turned out really well with them so far. This auto attack Arthas dominating the solo lane, and the poke from Dahaka dominating the bottom lane, as we're seeing a great combo there from the Tassadar and the Garrosh as DJ Coldcuts gets very low, uses his Essence and Adaptation, going to be able to get out, but Syndragosa comes out, and now the push is in on the mid lane. It did hit only one tower, unfortunately, for the Nexus Cats, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue, as they're going to take both towers out now and go ahead and jump onto this fort in the mid lane, looking to get the first structure damage in for themselves. But after getting the well, they're going to just be happy and go ahead and rotate into the bottom lane, it looks like. And you can't go wrong with that, because really, if you're looking at priority on this map, the bottom lane is where it's at. You want to make sure that you're opening up this lane, because this is where tons of camps are, as well as where one of the ever important objective points is. We are going to see the Ancient Blessings for Deckard activated. They're going to burn down the Dragon Knight very effectively, as all 5 members here for Furters. Mark Zombie going to get quite low, or going to get caught there, as we see Deckard getting quite low. Gust going to be used for the disengage as well as stay well and listen. Indecisive gets taken out by the Psionic Storm from the Doctor, as Arthana chases onto Boggs, but not going to find the kill. Barely getting away there, as Arthana now getting chunked in kind by Magic Master on the Orphea. Great back and forth between these two teams here, but that was a 4v5 in favor of the Nexus Cats, as they almost catch onto Dowling Pig here, and that did mean that all this time Turd has been able to push up in this top lane, and while Boggs has come to meet him, the well is gone, which is just another sustain option, as well as the front wall being gone, meaning another escape option gone for Dahaka, who has been struggling so far. So we'll have to see if they maybe keep this permanent, keep the Falstad up there. His range might help him out against Arthas if he's able to poke him out a little bit. So we'll see what they elect to go here, as Deckard trying to find something but not quite able to for the moment. Boggs actually rotating down, so 4v5 here in the bottom lane once again, and Nexus Cats wisely retreat, as Turd Herder able to use this time to get aggressive in the top lane. Level 16's in first with a level advantage here, and that means we of course have the Void Slash coming in for Zeratul, a renowned power spike for him here at the level 16. We also have the Thermal Lance for some huge poke here. Turd Herder actually used the Syndragosa in the top lane, willing to die for this fort here, and he will die here. Gonna try and use up as much time as he can here, but will inevitably fall. But for getting the fort here, I think that's quite worth it, as we did see the fort in the bottom lane fall, I believe, a little bit after Orphea trying to 1v9, but going to unfortunately fall, making it a 1-for-1 here, as level 16's picked up for the side of the Furters. We have seen, other than the level 1, a pretty typical build here for the side of Falstad, going into the Boomerang at 7, and then the Trait Talents with Flow Rider and Airy Gusts to kind of play with a mixed mage style here, getting the nice cooldown reduction. Also worth noting, we have the Horadric Staff. Every 5 seconds, this next basic attack from Deckard will stun a hero for 0.75 seconds. That will be very effective on the Zeratul if he's able to get that, because that could mean if Zeratul's diving onto Deckard or gets caught by Deckard while he's in the backline of Furters, he could very easily be falling. But speaking of people very easily falling, a great combo between the throw and violent reaction onto ETC is going to result in him falling. Black Hole comes out as well. Arthanaut getting stunned there, as you saw. Gonna pull out the Void Prison, as Stukov gonna throw his silence down. And now Nexus Cat's looking for potentially 2 more kills here. DJ Coldcut's trying to get away, as well as Boggs, but the throw comes out onto Boggs. He is going to fall on the fall stat. As all in the meanwhile, Orphea has been sitting mid, just trying to make sure that we don't see Turd Herder sneaking the Dragon Knight. As we're going to see DJ Coldcut's falling as well. Magic Master has to try and make a dream defense onto this Dragon Knight. Gonna do pretty well so far onto Turd Herder. Able to do a lot of damage, but needs to be careful as the rotation comes in from Mark Zombie and the rest of the Nexus Cats. Orphea is on an island, gets rooted. Gonna try and get away with the Shadow Waltz here, but the enormous burst comes out. And that is going to be the second Dragon Knight of the game, going out to the Nexus Cats. Looking at the damage right now, Tassadar putting out a ton. Matched Orphea and Zeratul about the same here, and Falstad a little bit behind, but really Tassadar just showing how much oppression can come out from the poke there with his Shock Ray, stacking it up, as well as having the 16 talent here for the 8% maximum health on the first hero hit. And now we have a bit of a 2-lane push coming in, as with the Syndragosa, mid lane is being pushed by 4 members of the Nexus Cats, while the Dragon Knight, with Zeratul in it, is going to be happy to distract the rest of Frankfurters pushing in the bottom lane. We'll get the 2 keep walls there, as now going to rotate into the mid lane, actually kicks Dowling Peak far away, denying the kill to his own team. Nice into the fray there, gonna get Arthanaut out of the fray, but now it's Mark Zombie who's getting collapsed on. Gets a huge taunt, but the Void Prison gonna be denying it a little bit. Regardless, the first kill will come out in favor of Nexus Cats onto Dowling Pig on the ETC. Lots of damage though going onto the Doctor on Tassadar. He's gonna have to back out. And it's going to be looking like, though, just a 1-for-1, unless Magic Master gets caught here by the Groundbreaker, and the double Virulent Reaction catches onto Indecisive on the Deckard. He's getting very low, but Arthanaut getting very low as well, and it's so back and forth, so many members getting low and then healed back up. Gust used for the disengage, and it's going to be 2-0 in the end. Coming out again in favor of Nexus Cats, looking so terrifying in this late game as level 20 towns are in for them. We saw already in action the Shadow Mending helping Zeratul out, but we also have the Kugel Blitz. Titanic Might, as the throw goes on to Dahaka, and he is going to fall. Tower gonna finish off Stukov, so making it a 1-for-1 there, and actually kind of favorable almost for Frankfurters, as the healer will be down now as Orphea is coming back up. But then we do see Absolute Zero and push comes to shove coming out for the rest of the Nexus Cats as they take the bottom lane keep and send out Syndragosa to look for the bottom keep. A huge wombo goes out onto Falstad and ETC, and they just disintegrate. The Doctor showing what Tassadar can do, and with those 2 kills, I can't help but think that the Nexus Cats are going to be able to end here. Looking a little bit worried by the Orphea though, so going to go ahead and choose to back off instead. And at this point, I don't think you can really go wrong with just taking some camps, taking the Dragon Knight here. There's no way that Frankfurters can safely deny it from you. And if you're worried about ending, it might not be as worrying if you have the Dragon Knight.
There must always be a
2 shrines going to spawn in now for the objective. We're going to see Garrosh rotating into the bottom lane as Stukov now respawning for his team. Looks like Arthana will be the one to rotate into the top lane, as we have the Doctor just waiting for his team in the mid lane to go ahead and get the channel onto this Dragon Knight to try and potentially end out this first map of the game. It's going to be Nexus Cats pushing down the middle lane with this 18-minute Dragon Knight. Level 20 so close for the side of the Frankfurters, and that might be their only hope to try and defend here if they're able to get a wave or 2 more. But it looks like that might not be allowed here, and they're going to just have to rely on the core mechanics as well as the stay while and listen. Sleeping Deckard and Stukov here, who's going to get hit by the core and the power slide. That's a huge chain CC, and the mosh pit comes out. It is onto 3. Arthanaut going to be able to be thrown out, but Stukov does fall. Void Prison goes onto 3. Great play there from Arthanaut, and all in the meanwhile, the Doctor in the Dragon Knight has been wailing on the core, and that's going to be game 1 going to the Nexus Cats. Whew, the scaling was insane for Nexus Cats there. Orphea actually did have the top damage in the game by the end there, but it was so spread that it didn't really come out in their favor and just wasn't enough. Falstad did put in a lot of work as well, but Zeratul getting the most kills in the game. A nice kill assist ratio there. And Tassadar putting in a lot of damage himself with a great combo there, pulling out the black hole after the force wall as well as the shock ray and the psionic storm. We saw two members, the Dahaka and Falstad I believe it was, just disintegrate before our eyes. The Doctor playing out of his mind on the Tassadar in that first game. We'll have to see if that gets banned out or what happens here from our teams as we jump into our second map here shortly. I'll make sure to keep you updated, but for the moment you can take a look at these talents and we'll figure out what's going to go down between these two teams. Alright, let me go ahead and figure out what we're going to be seeing happening here. Going to go ahead and ask what we're going to see. Beatbox is definitely #1 NA HOTS Discord, says Turd Herder. Alright. All the good support mains are there, supposedly, from McGiblets. Are you saying something about what Discord servers you're in, McGiblets? We'll have to see. I'm not exactly sure what this beatbox is. I might have to get in on this after. Figure out what's going on there in the interview. We're going to see first pick is the choice from Dalian Pig, and it is going to be the map pick once again for Nexus Cats, and they are going to end up taking us to Infernal Shrines. The classic map here to potentially close out this series, as we saw a very strong game one. The early game looked pretty good for Frank's Furters, but Nexus Cats showed some really devastating wombos that allowed them to take the mid and end game dominantly. Frankfurter's not able to really secure the objective points at all past level 10, and not able to take any structures either. So we'll have to see how they choose to shake it up in this next map. On Infernal Shrines, there is a lot more team fight focus and a lot less rotation and macro focus, so that is something that I think is an opportunity for the Frankfurters to start turning it around. Maybe saying, okay, the strategy was in favor of the Nexus Cats in that first game, but we're able to pull it around in the second game if we can just make sure that we're controlling the map a little bit better and then getting to the shrine on time and winning the team fights. I think SHIRE can always be a good map to throw the enemy team off if you have your communication down, but if the enemy team is able to not get phased by that, once you get back into some of these more brawly team fight based maps, it can definitely see the momentum shift around a little bit. Linehouse saying Gibbs had to play someone other than Malf or Jibs. I'm still not 100% on that, but hey, if we've seen McGiblets on a ton of Malfurion, then I'm always happy to see some other healers. And there was some really great virulent reactions throughout the game. We saw a double virulent reaction in the mid game, which really opened it up because it let that second Dragon Knight come through, I believe it was. So we'll have to see here as we're going to go ahead and jump into our second map shortly here on Infernal Shrines. Starting it, so here we are. Yeah, Infernal Shrines. So looking at this map, of course, you do have some emphasis on rotations, definitely between that mid and bottom lane with your 4-man, as well as potentially having a solo laner who might double soak during the objective phase or while the objective is pushing down lanes. Real August says hard G, I believe, for Gibbs. Okay, I will go for the hard G then. I trust in chat more than I trust in me here. So McGiblets gonna be the pronunciation here. But we're gonna see the first ban going out onto Stukov, and with this map, that doesn't surprise me. The silence can be a pain, and actually Rexar banned out again, despite the map being completely different. Gonna take that option out, so maybe a strong pick for Frank's Furters that they just want to deny from the side of Nexus Cats. In similar case, we're gonna see Blaze once again taken away. The Bunker or Combustion can both be very strong in team fights, and again we're gonna see Zul'jin here, so only shifting up one ban. And again, first pick here for Frank's Furters, so how are they gonna turn it around from last game? As so far it's been looking very similar. They're gonna start by taking Tassadar away. Magic Master picking it up here. The Mage player with a very fitting name. Trusting Twitch chat Monkas. Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe I should go for McGiblets. But yeah, other than the rotations, you're looking a lot at AoE focus onto the Shrine, as we're going to see Garrosh again coming out for Mark Zombie, and this time the Doctor going to be playing Sylvanas. So again, high emphasis on the push pressure here. We saw Syndragosa last game, Sylvanas this game, but now Johanna, who was ignored last game, going to be picked up. Honestly, would have been shocked if she didn't make it through, given that we were seeing a Garrosh and that we're on Infernal Shrines. I would have expected to see her either picked or banned away. And so glad to see her here, as well as Raynor, who is of course just an all-around powerful hero, able to put in the pepper into enemy heroes, keeping himself nice and safe, got a great range and great really bulk for a backliner, making him he is Jimmy right click, but he also has a lot of playmaking potential with the penetrating round, and is overall just really solid, as well as Anduin, who's going to get banned out here as the healer ban coming out from Nexus Cats. We're going to have to see, as both teams don't have a healer, if we're going to see even more healer choke here. This Malfurion was banned out last game, but it's going to be Deathwing banned out this game, as the Nexus Cats had let it through, so maybe hinting that they were potentially going to go for it. Not going to be allowed by the side of Frank's Furters. Which makes sense. Zul'jin maybe is the comfort pick against a Deathwing for Frank's Furters. An underrated counter in my mind, as you do get the armor shred on Q, although it does come in a little bit late. But now McGiblet's going to pick the Deckard for his own team, and Arthanaut again on a bit of a carry hero here. We saw the Zeratul last game, and now Vala for him, putting the team on his back, saying, I'm going to put in the damage and keep myself alive. We'll have to see if that turns out to be true, as again it's going to be Dahaka for DJ Cold Cuts. And the last pick, the healer here for Indecisive, is going to be Rhaegar. Bloodlust is potentially here. We'll have to see what comes out in the offlane for Turd Herder to try and deny that, or maybe they're not worried about it. Maybe we just see another comfort pick coming in here for him. As again, we do have the potential for a global for Frank's Furters. And it's going to be Leoric. You cannot go wrong with that hero. It was banned out last game, and having that here to just clear waves, clear objective, double soak after the objective. Leoric is a hero that, especially on this map, you cannot go wrong with. And with that, let me go ahead and open up a poll in chat. See who you think is going to win. Is it going to be Nexus Cats again? Chat was right last time. Or are we going to see Frank's Furters start to make a turnaround here on Infernal Shrines? Alright. Ghost Dunk says, Nexus Cats has to play pretty patient, but I'm sure they can. Definitely, I think there's a lot of burst and pick potential from the Dahaka and Tassadar. So if we can see the sustained damage with Arthana and the Doctor here, and playing nice and safe with the Deckard, could definitely come out on top on this second map. As we're going to start out here with the Nexus Cats, they are led by Arthana, playing the Vala. They also have Turd Herder here on Leoric. Deckard, played by McGiblets. Mark Zombie on Garrosh, and the Doctor on Sylvanas. Against them, it's going to be Johanna, played by Dallying Pig. Boggs on Raynor. DJ Cold Cuts on Dahaka. Magic Master, taking the Tassadar away, and Indecisive on the Rhaegar. Bloodlust is potentially here. We'll have to see. Is it going to come out? Always love to see it when it does, but we will have to watch and see what these teams decide to go for. Because right now, again, 5-man setup for Nexus Cats, or for, goodness gracious, for Frankfurters. I gotta stop getting these mid lane matchups backwards. But we're gonna see Dahaka rotate off nice and quickly, as well as Rhaegar, as the wave clear comes out a little bit in favor actually of Nexus Cats. Looks like a minion or two gonna have to be picked up there for the side of Frankfurters, but they've already started onto this bottom lane. Won't matter though if Boggs gets thrown, and it looks like he will, and that will be Raynor dying. First blood for Nexus Cats. Great rotation there, and punishing the overextension of Raynor excellently with that Garrosh. Rotation has already come into the mid lane from the side of Frankfurters, but the soak will not be missed, as we're going to see Sylvanas and Deckard start onto this siege camp for Nexus Cats. Tassadar and Rhaegar doing the same for Frankfurters on the other side. And in the top lane, just about what you would expect. DJ Coldcut's going to struggle a little bit. Dahaka not known for winning the lane matchups, but able to get some global potential as we see the spray coming out there. Looks like a little bit of a scrap here in the no man's zone, but not much going to come of it, as both teams just going to focus on clearing waves and waiting for the objective, which will be here in the middle of the map. It's going to be a Mortar Punisher here. You can see hovering over the mini-map there. And then we're going to see if these teams do choose to go for their bruisers. That is something that you can opt into, trying to take the bruisers with the objective, as we have a 50-50 vote. One going for Nexus Cats, one going for Frankfurters. We'll have to see if Chad, if the predictions from Game 1 carry through, and Nexus Cats is able to take this in a 2-0 fashion, or if the one person who is swayed by Frankfurters is going to turn out being right here, and we see a Game 3. For the moment, we're going to see the Doctor and co working on this bottom siege camp. Boggs, I think, will scout it out, but he's alone on that Raynor. He won't be able to do anything about it. And that will be siege camp in the bottom lane picked up. The Doctor does need to be a bit careful here, but going to be able to get the hunting wave out as Dowling Pig comes in with the rest of their team. We do see the W build starting for Sylvanas, so looking to stack that up and get some great AoE. We also have Field Study at level 1, as well as the Ruby, so a bit more combo-based Deckard maybe, looking for some spell power and some explosive damage of his own on the roots. Is Dowling Pig going to go on to Garrosh, as well as the Force Wall coming out on the Mark Zombie. He's not going to be able to get out even with the Unstoppable. Luckily, will be able to survive though, and with the Ruby, heals up to full nice and quick. The start onto the Shrine from Turd Herder was nice, and it's going to be 7-7 at the current moment. DJ Coldcut's getting slowed and going to have to use his Burrow to escape the root there from McGiblets. As poke going back and forth, but it looks like right now in favor of Nexus Cats, as Dowling Pig on the Johanna going to have to use their well to try and re-engage onto this objective. Alright. Both teams going to get into here, but if we're looking at levels, level 7 is very close for the side of Nexus Cats. They could definitely get it here if they go ahead and grab a few minions, but maybe they won't even need to, as Indecisive and Dowling Pig again getting quite low. And the root comes out onto Raynor. DJ Coldcut's looking for a potential drag, as Turd Herder now also very low. Andalior can get locked by the Force Wall and will be the first to fall over this objective. Potential chase is Magic Master putting out a lot of damage himself, but gets hit by the multi-shot, and Arthanoff finishes him off, making it a 1-for-1. But I don't think it should matter too much unless we see maybe a kill on the Boggs as well on the Raynor, and we will with an excellent vault and hunt arrow there from Hungering Arrow there from Vala, and Dahaka also going to fall. So 3 kills over this objective, maybe 4, as Dowling Pig also getting low. Had to use the trait Unstoppable used for Mark Zombie, but not going to be enough. Now he has to get out. But regardless, that is a huge win. Already a level lead in place for the Nexus Cats, and they're going to push into this lane, throw onto Indecisive, and Rhaegar going to have to use his totem there to escape. This is the first Punisher, so I won't get too much, but with Sylvanas' trait, they're able to make sure they get that mid wall, as well as a good bit off of this fort, taking about 2/3 of its health. And Leoric able to soak up and get them now almost 2 levels ahead as well. Great experience so far. You're looking at the hero experience there, as well as some really good minion soak advantage thanks to the Leoric. And Vala as well catching a good bit in the middle lane for the Nexus Cats. Good play from them so far, as they're already getting their siege camp and looking at Dowling Pig, who's on this bruiser camp, gonna get on this siege camp that is on the other team's side. Gonna get thrown off by Mark Zombie, but a lot of damage coming out both ways. Johanna will be the first to fall, but the camp will go to Frank's Furters, as the global did come out, and actually kill goes on to Mark Zombie, so a nice little bit of comeback XP going to come of that. The Doctor barely able to escape on Sylvanas, but overall I would say a favorable trade here for the side of Frank's Furters, as that is going to be a decent bit of comeback XP, and they didn't end up losing the camp after all. Level 10s are here for the side of Nexus Cats. We'll have to see if they come in time for Frank's Furters for the next objective, as we see actually here Blood and Thunder instead of the cleanse for Rhaegar, so looking for the cooldown reduction. Not too worried about cleansing out the CC, since you can't really cleanse in Entomb here, which we do see alongside the Wailing Arrow, Stay a While and Listen, Warlord's Challenge, and the Reign of Vengeance. So lots and lots of CC coming from the ults of Nexus Cats, potentially looking for a similar playstyle to last game, where they're able to just lock down multiple members and blow them up, thanks to the huge amount of CC that they have. Level 10 will be here with more than enough time for Frank's Furters. I had no reason to be afraid for them, but there is reason to be afraid other than XP, as we're going to see Tass getting slowed and blown up thanks to the Warlord's Challenge there. Tried to use the Force Wall to save himself, but not quite able to, as the ults for the side of Frank's Furters are going to be the Blessed Shield, Hyperion, Isolation, Bloodlust, as mentioned, and the Black Hole. But a great counter engage, as the aggression is too heavy from the side of Nexus Cats onto this mid fort, going to result in 2 falling on the side of Nexus Cats. Good job in showing the power of the Bloodlust to force that counter engage when your opponents get a bit too over aggressive. And now if you look at XP, the level and a half lead is dissipating pretty quickly for Nexus Cats, so good job from the side of Frank's Furters to start reining it back in here a bit, as now with the Tassadar on their side, able to get some goodness going for them this game, and getting that late game scaling in for themselves. Boggs with a bit of an aggressive rotation here onto Turret Herder. Got to be careful, as well as indecisive here. Mark not going to be able to throw any of them though. And it looks like Dahaka potentially just going to start out the Shrine Force team in this top lane, as a bit of a fight goes out and a great Force Wall, which I barely caught, and got back in time to see that that was a pick onto Arthanoth from the side of our red team here with Frank's Furters. Excellent play from them, punishing the overextension, where we saw that not coming out from the side of Nexus Cats. And it's just going to cause Nexus Cats to have to kind of sit back and soak, push in with Sylvanas, but with Vala dead, their main siege here is kind of gone. Going to have to rely heavily on those minions to push in here. And Raynor and Rhaegar are going to be able to clear out the mid lane, so not going to fall too behind in XP here. That being said, 13s are in. Gloom, very powerful talent here for Vala, going to help her a lot in preventing herself from getting taken out. But while DJ Coldcut's burrowed down, it won't be enough. Ancient Blessings even coming out just to secure this fort for Nexus Cats. We'll have to see what Frank's Furters can get done in this top lane, as they have the Arcane Punisher pushing in with them. Gonna jump onto Arthana, who's gonna get stunned and take a ton of damage and get finished off by Raynor there. Bit too aggressive, trying to bait the Punisher as a Vala. Spell power or spell armor won't help you there, and now they're going to be going ahead and pushing against this keep wall with a 60% Punisher. Should be able to get the wall, but I doubt much else. That being said, Hyperion is popped. Very good push pressure from that ultimate ability in particular. But it looks like they're going to just go ahead and back up safely, as Dahaka has been soaking them back up, and now a level lead for, or a small experience lead for the side of Frank's Furters, So while they are down on structures for the moment, they've all but caught up everywhere else on the map, and they're looking to get aggressive with Walla having recently respawned, but not recently enough, as it's going to be Tassadar getting blown up. Turd misses the Entomb as Bloodlust comes out for the side of Frank's Furters, and a ton of damage. Ancient Blessings is here as well, though, and that's going to be Rhaegar falling. Leoric will fall to get a bit of a counter kill there for the side of Frank's Furters, but with 3 of their own taken out, that's going to be a very favorable trade and a failed invade from the side of Frank's Furters. Great play there. Again, playing a bit of the counter engage. It has worked out very well for both teams, and in this case, working in favor of Nexus Cats, and they're going to take their advantage and deny some value here for the potential next objective in the mid lane by stealing away the stealing away the camp of the Furters. Here we go. And now, I was just saying Frank's Furters have all but evened it up and actually are looking very strong, but now again, getting pushed in a little bit, and the map is just being painted blue by Nexus Cats, doing a great job of not letting that one lost objective really get them down. Dahaka burrowing in here is going to see this camp, but I don't know that they can do much about it. Mark Zombie going to try and delay for his team as DJ Coldcuts on this Dahaka is taking a ton of damage, dodges the root from Deckard, but will he be able to keep himself alive? The Doctor thrown by Mark Zombie to save them from the drag there. Excellent play from the tank, saving Sylvanas' life, and the camp will go to the side of Frank's Furters, but all is well for the side of Nexus Cats. They'll be able to clear it up nice and easy. 16's in here, and we are going to see the Frost Shot for the extra lockdown against the Bloodlust that we have here for the side of the Frank's Furters, showing again the nice mount synergy from both sides. Also going to see the Scroll of Stone Curse, so look for Deckard to be able to get a lot of damage out now if he's able to chain those roots with the Field Study. And I actually gonna see gonna see a team fight. I was looking at talents and thinking they were on other heroes, as we're gonna see the Entomb and Black Hole thrown out, but not much happening of it. Mark Zombie actually taking a good bit of damage as he goes for the throw there, but the root and the huge CC onto 2 members of Frank's Furters is going to result in Dahaka and Rhaegar falling there. Deckard putting in a ton of damage, and while the AoE from the side of Frank's Furters is great, especially with this Bloodlust, being down 2, they're not able to secure any kills, so they're just going to have to try and start onto this objective and see if they can somehow salvage this situation as Turd Herder ghosts in on Leoric. Does, I believe, get the reset onto his Wraithwalk there. Gonna use it onto Magic Master, who is now caught out a little bit. Gonna try and Dimensional Shift out, but gets revealed, thrown by Mark Zombie, and that is a staggered death for Frank's Furters, and it is looking really strong. Looking really strong for the Nexus Cats. We saw Crescent in chat saying Garrosh saving Sylvanas doesn't seem very lore friendly. That is true. I don't know that much about Warcraft lore, but I know enough that Sylvanas definitely not a very liked character, both in and out of universe, so and I think that's deserved. I don't like playing against Sylvanas either, and I don't think she's a nice person, so alright, we've gone on that tangent long enough. Both siege camps picked up for Nexus Cats, just looking to pressure in this mid lane as much as possible, and now with this Frozen Punisher, it's going to lock down structures as well as Sylvanas here. So a lot of push potential in for the side of the Nexus Cats, and they're going to be looking to take the first keep of the game with this push. DB Smiley coming in with the raid. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you're coming from DB Smiley, love to see you here. We are in the middle of our second map here between Nexus Cats and Frank's Furters. Push coming in for Nexus Cats. The Hyperion will come out to try and deny it as the structures are locked down by Sylvanas and the Frozen Punisher, throwing out the Frozen Orbs here. But looks like the Hyperion is going to prove effective, as it's going to force Frank's Nexus Cats backs for a short moment to stay a while and listen, as well as Entomb popping out, but not getting much of anything. That being said, Sylvanas is able to lock down this keep, and it should be falling here for the side of Nexus Cats. The question is, can they get kills? Can they get more? As the Punisher jumping, huge root combo from Deckard. but Nexus Cats is chunked enough that they're not willing to go for it here, especially against the potential bloodlust that we have for Furters, and that's going to be just a keep, which is still a huge win for Nexus Cats in this situation. Alright, going to be focusing onto the camps now for both teams. It looks like Bruiser camps picked up for the side of Furters, whereas we're going to see the siege in the bottom lane for the side of Nexus Cats. We'll have to see where this next objective is. It is going to be in the top lane, which is actually very dangerous for Nexus Cats because they've been doing so good so far, but the XP is still close. You can go ahead and take a look at it. Back and forth, heroes in favor of the Nexus Cats, but minions now in favor of Furters. But Furters has done well enough keeping up that they will definitely have level 20s for this. And since the fort is down for the side of Nexus Cats, as well as the front wall in this top lane, we could definitely see Furters ending the game if they're able to take this specific shrine. They have to keep the dream alive for now, though, which is gonna be aided by the drag onto Turd Herder on the Leoric, and he's gonna get picked off just before level 20 is in, which it now is. We're gonna see perfect gems in for Deckard, looking to take advantage of the ruby, which he has there, as well as a lower cooldown on the cube. Also gonna have Titanic Might for Garrosh, the Farflight Quiver for Vala, the Bolt of the Storm for Sylvanas, and Buried Alive, of course, for Leoric. That is a game-changing talent, but as we see Nexus Cats pushing in the bot, actually, interesting. Even though it's a 5v4 here, and there is the Rainer available, Furters is going to choose to defend the bottom lane here against the Nexus Cats instead of pushing in with this Bruiser camp. Interesting choice. I would have liked to see him push for keep there. I think they definitely could have gotten it if Nexus Cats did not respond. They were seen in the bottom lane, but playing it safe, and you can't go wrong with that. You're down 20. You don't want to give the opportunity for a fight. But now 20 is here. We see the Radiating Faith for Johanna. Basically a mosh pit now at this point is the Blessed Shield, as well as Execute, Contagion, another super powerful level 20. As we see the throw onto Johanna, gonna get the taunt denied by the Iron Skin there, as we also have the Gladiator's War Shout and the Force Bearer. So huge level 20s for both sides. If I had to say which side is favored though by the level 20s, I think the 20s definitely help out Furters a little bit more, in my opinion. It gives them a lot more damage and a lot more lockdown. But the question is, are they going to be able to survive the initial burst and the Buried Alive from Turd Herder? We're going to have to see. As Rhaegar gets thrown in, that could be... Oh, that is so awful for the side of Furters. Bloodlust is popped in time. We're going to have to see if it's enough, as we do see the Black Hole as well as the Hyperion. And we're going to see now 2 for 2 as Sylvanas and Leoric fall. We also saw Tassadar fall, but now Garrosh falling for the side of the Nexus Cats. Drag goes onto McGiblets, or McGiblets, whichever you prefer. But that's actually 3 for 2. Bloodlust coming out, meaning that the sustain was there, as well as the counter engage for Furters, and now this is a shrine, and this is exactly what I was talking about. The top lane is the only one pushed out in favor of Furters, and with this late game Punisher, as well as Execute on Rainer, this could be game ending. We're gonna have to see how Nexus Cats go ahead and try to deal with this here, as the push will be coming in shortly. Looks like they're gonna try and force onto the bottom lane a bit, create some pressure so that if they're able to defend, it will be a very, very strong opportunity for them if this bottom lane gets opened up as well. Rhaegar will be alive, as well as Tassadar, if they want to clear that out. For the moment, it looks like Boggs and DJ Cold Cuts here on the Rainer and Dahaka going to be pushing in, though. And with this Punisher healthy, as it goes on to the keep, going to be baited over by Arthana a little bit here. Not going to be baited over to the other keep. But the push isn't coming in for the side of Furters, and I think this is a big misplay. This was their best chance, in my opinion, as the bait actually was successful onto the mid keep there. Great job from the side of the Nexus Cats, but Furters playing it safe there, and I think giving up on a point where they could have seen a game-winning push. We'll have to see, though, if their judgment was wiser than mine. As for the moment, they're just going to try and keep their hopes alive and push out the other lanes. talk about silences in chat and whether or not there's enough from the side of Nexus Cats. I don't know. I think the Stay a While and Listen upgrade could be very powerful for the blind it gives, but that being said, Gladiator's War Shout does last for the 16 seconds, so not many blinds last, no blinds last long enough for that. And aggression gonna be here for the side of Frank's Furters as they see Sylvanas clearing out the top lane. The Bruiser Camp is available here for the side of the Nexus Cats in the top lane, which will mean that they'll be able to keep that pushed out during the next objective phase if it is not invaded. But right now, Tassadar getting thrown is a disaster for Frank's Furters. Lots used on him. We see the taunt and Stay a While and Listen, but that is worth it. A kill is a kill, and both of those cooldowns will be up before Tassadar is, and now it's a 4v5 on the map for Frank's Furters, so they're going to have to just sit back and play safe, being punished for some over-aggressive positioning there. Alright, Bruiser Camp will be taken now for the Nexus Cats. Just going to try and keep that lane pushed out immediately as they look for pressure elsewhere on the map, as this next shrine will be a Frozen Punisher in the bottom lane, the first Punisher in the bottom lane of this game, I believe. We've had, I think, mid-top so far. And for the moment, we're going to see top lane cleared out by Frank's Furters, but with that, the pressure is going into this bottom lane, and the wall is open, and Sylvanas is here. This could be a keep falling if Frank's Furters aren't careful, and it looks like that is definitely the intent of Nexus Cast as they push in here. The rotation comes from Frank's Furters, but will it be here in time? Damage goes out onto the keep. Johanna using her Unstoppable to get past the trait, past the root, not trait, of Deckard. But the engage is clean, using some Unstoppables, but going to be able to get away from the side of Nexus Cats. And Punishers, or Catapults, goodness gracious, it's too late for me. Catapults building up in this middle lane. They're doing 456 in auto right now, as we're getting very high in the levels. And speaking of high, let's take a look at these damage stats. As I'm stumbling over every word here, we're looking at pretty equal damage between Vala and Raynor, the damage carries for their teams right now, as well as Sylvanas and Tassadar all putting out pretty even damage here. As Shrine going to be started for the side of Nexus Cats, and already getting a nice little lead for themselves. Looking at about 10 up on the enemy team, but with the Bloodlust as well as the drag onto McGiblets, this is a very strong potential for a team fight here. Boggs takes a ton of damage though, and that is showing how much damage this oh my gosh, the huge isolation splitting onto multiple, as well as the busted shield, is going to result in Turd Herder falling. Huge root though for the counter engage, as well as a taunt onto 3. That's 3 kills, as well as Johanna falling next. Magic Master trying to retreat as the B steps from Mark Zombie. Oh, so awful, I cannot believe it. Indecisive says that was clean, not gonna lie. Top keep will be falling for the side of Nexus Cats, but it doesn't matter. That 4-man kill ensured this objective, and that should ensure the game for Nexus Cats. They're going to take their time, they're going to have some fun with it, but this is going to more than likely be the 2-0 here for them, as a insane wombo combo showing how much damage you can do with that field study, as well as the Scroll of Stone Curse on Deckard, as well as even just the spread build. So much just AoE damage coming out for Nexus Cats here, and they are more than likely going to be able to end the game here with this huge health Punisher pushing in the bottom lane, as well as multiple members from the side of Frank's Furters dead for another few seconds here. Bottom keep will be blown through as if it was made of paper, and as the Punisher jumps, this is all but finished here. They've been taking their time, making me talk for a little bit, but this should be it here, as the Punisher on its own doing a ton of damage. Bloodlust comes out to try and deny the end of the game, but the Punisher is wailing on the core here, and Arthanaut says, you know what, screw you guys, I'm going to come hit the core as well. That being said, Vala does fall in the end here, but not going to be enough here, as the Punisher higher health than the core at this point, and that will be game number 2, going over to Nexus Cats. taking the series 2-0. GG. All right, they sure made me stall from there, taking their time, going ahead and do it, making sure that they do the shrine first, and then take a camp, and then they kind of waited in the middle lane and let the Punisher end on its own. But overall, clean series from the side of the Nexus Cats, and they're gonna take that win nice and easy. You can take a look at the stats here. You can clip it if you want to look a little bit closer. But overall, super solid from them. And gonna be a nice and easy win for them. No, not easy, but a nice and dominant. I should say dominant. I should never say easy. Furters had some great moments, especially in Game 2. We saw the bloodlust potential, and really it seemed like the counter engage was what won it multiple times from Deckard. McGiblets popping off, getting the huge damage, and allowing Sylvanas to get the huge AoE as well for their team. As we should hopefully be jumping into an interview with one of our members here from Nexus Cats shortly. Gotta go ahead and set up my info here so that we can jump into this. Boom, interview, ready. Okay, so we should hopefully be having one of the members of Nexus Cats jumping in here shortly, as they took a nice series there against their longtime rivals, really. Some good history between these teams, and Nexus Cats starting to even up the score here. So good for them. We should hopefully see one of their members in shortly. I'm gonna go ahead and reach out again to Arthana here, the captain for the Nexus Cats. And we'll see if we can get someone in for the interview. If not, that was, of course, an excellent series, and I appreciate
Howdy, Hydra.
Hey, how are you guys feeling?
Oh, we're feeling pretty good. Furters is always a fun match.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the history between the teams. I, of course, did some research, found you guys have played each other a lot, but let's hear it from you guys. So what's the history like between you two as teams?
So 3-4 seasons ago, we were in the same division, and we were both towards the upper end of the division. And the very last week of the season, we finally played each other, and it was like a first seed versus second seed game, and there was a lot of smack talk and poetry written and weird things going on about it, and they ended up beating us. Next season, we don't play each other. The following season, similar situation. We've just always smack talked each other before our matches.
Of course.
A lot of banter.
Yeah, and I think across multiple seasons, I think it's really fun because you have that storyline that's been built up, and the history between the two teams or teams that you've gone up against. So,
yeah,
it's just another thing I love about NGS: seeing the same faces, same people coming back.
There was actually last season, whenever they played us, they wrote a rap diss track, which was actually pretty cool. Insulting our team. It was great. I liked it personally.
Hey, I mean, you got to appreciate the effort there.
100%.
But yeah, so going into this series, you guys have been on fire so far, and so what were you feeling like going into the series? Because on one side, like I said, you have been tearing up the season so far, 6-1 up to this point, now 8-1, and but in the past, I believe your record against them was not the best. They were, I think, 4-1 map record against you guys. So what was the confidence level at?
Today, I think we were going into this feeling pretty good. Mark, you want to comment more on that?
Yeah, I think confidence was through the roof. very, very positive that was going to be a 2-0. We've been putting in a lot of work with the coach. We've got a nice, some new players. We're starting to mesh really well together. And like I said, you know, there is the history between the two teams. So it was definitely an exciting matchup. And yeah, looking forward to, if they make it to playoffs, looking forward to maybe doing a rematch.
Yeah, and it definitely showed. You guys came out confident. I know whenever I see the first map pick Dragonshire, that's always something that strikes me, because for me, I see Dragonshire is kind of terrifying for me, because Dragonshire, if you pick that map, it kind of shouts, we think we're the better team, because it's so much about the communication, and you guys looked confident there. You honestly stomped it on map 1. Map 2, bit closer, but you guys came out on top there as well. I don't really have that many questions. We can wait a second to see if chat has any, but I will ask, if you had to give an MVP to one of your players for the series, who would you give it to?
Me personally, I think I would give it to either the Doctor or Mr. McGiblets. Those two have been on fire lately, and they're just not turning off the heat. McGiblets is always clutch with his saves and his interrupts, and can always count on him. Normally, if we die, we know it's our fault, not McGiblets.
Mark, any differing opinion there?
Or? Yeah, I think.
Actually,
yeah,
you know what? I'm gonna step in.
Okay.
I'm gonna step in. The MVP was Mark. That Garrosh taunt game too. I was trying to be nice because he was. No, it was Mark. Mark played out of his mind that game.
There were definitely some insane taunts both games, but frankly, I think everyone made plays. I think Turd Herder pulling out the win in the top lane on Dragonshire was something that I wasn't sure if it was going to happen, and he looked really strong up there. Everyone on your team, I think, had some great plays tonight. Your Zeratul, Arthanaut, looked terrifying. I've been practicing Zeratul recently, and that was a great show. So I'll go ahead and send you guys off. Chat doesn't have any questions for you, because it was just that solid of a performance, but any shout-outs?
Shout out to my team, and shout out to our coach as always, making us work hard and play good.
I'll shout out. We have a lot of fans in the chat showing up. Real August, our coach, of course. Lulu Heroes, a previous Nexus Cats. Professor Bobo, and the rest of the Beatbox squad. Linehouse and them coming in. We appreciate you guys showing up and dropping some Nexus Cats hype. And yeah. Shout out to my team, I guess. I don't know. They did all right.
All right. Well, thank you guys for the excellent series. I'm excited to see the Nexus Cats. I can't speak English today. Nexus Cats hype continue throughout the season. Best of luck to you guys. Have a great one.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the cast, Hydra. We appreciate that.
Of course. All right. That is it for tonight. Thank you, everyone who came out. Like they were saying, these things don't happen without everyone in the community. Thank you for everyone who came out in chat. If you have any comments for my cast, if you have any feedback, feel free to use the feedback command and go ahead and drop that there. But for the moment, I'm going to go ahead and find us a raid, find a series that is ongoing so that we can get into some more NGS action. Looks like for the moment, looks like we maybe don't have that many going on, as I was one of the later casts for sure. Let me go ahead and check another page here. I'm trying to find us a raid for the moment, and maybe I'll drop us into this. Yeah, why not? Okay, my friend NyQuil is going into a match 3, 1-1 between two teams so far, for Heroes Lounge, looking at an Epic Cup group. So equivalent of Div C and Div D, kind of. So they're going into a game 3. Please go ahead and show him some love. I know he has been working really hard, casting like 5 games a week for the past week or two. So he's been putting in the work, even though it is Heroes Lounge. Please go and show him some love. Thank you everyone for coming out. I'll catch you all later.